Um, I wanted to talk to you guys about one more thing that we looked at earlier that we looked at earlier in this unit. Just one thing to notice about how the rule will affect the graph and sort of like what that looks like and something that we can look for. So I'm actually going to draw another. I'm going to draw another graph here, and I'll probably want it to be about the same size. And so there is my y-axis, here is my x-axis, and here is going to be x equals 0, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, 7, 8. And y is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so again, really quick, as I mentioned before, notice that as I wrote this out, I spaced my numbers an equal distance apart. All of my numbers on the x-axis are the same distance apart, and all of my numbers on the y-axis are the same distance apart. The y-axis and the x-axis are not the same distance apart, right? The x-axis is one number every 2 squares, and the y-axis is one number every 1 square. That is okay. As long as all of the numbers on my x-axis are all the same distance apart from each other, it's okay if it's different from how far apart the y-axis numbers are. So I wanted to go up and I wanted to look at, I wanted to talk about how we connect the rule to our table. So we're going to look at our rule when it goes to a graph. And we're going to look at what those look like. Because I think that the rule and the graph are the most confusing ones. So if I look at all of the rules that I have so far, the very first rule from the very first pattern that we found is right here, which was y equals 4x plus 2. Then we had y equals 4x plus 1, and then we had y equals 4x plus 3. Those were our first three. I'm going to write those down before I forget them. So tile pattern 1. That's not very well written. Let's write this one more time. Tile pattern 1. The rule is y equals 4x plus 2. I believe it was 2, right? Yeah, y equals 4x plus 2. And then tile pattern 2. I'm just going to write TP. Tile pattern 2 is y equals 4x plus 1. And then tile pattern 3 is y equals 4x plus 3. And then let's go up and look at tile pattern 4. Tile pattern 4 was y equals 2x plus 3. And then let's include this last one. Let's do the one that I did too, y equals 2x plus 5. Let's do all of those. Y equals 2x plus 3. And that's tile pattern 4. And then we're going to call the one that Mr. Kilmer just made up that we put in our notes, we're going to call that one y equals, or we're going to call that tile pattern 5, and that was y equals 2x plus 5. So let's go ahead and graph those. So in tile pattern 1, if you look at the tiles, right? In figure 0, there's 2. In figure 1, there's 6. In figure 2, there's 10. And in figure 3, it's just growing by, we noticed that it was growing by 4 each time. So in tile pattern 0, there is 2. And then it's growing by 4 each time. So in tile pattern 1, there's going to be 6. In tile pattern 2, there's going to be 10. In tile pattern 3, there's going to be 14. So you'll see, like, we can see that 3 lines up with 14, right? And that 10 lines up with 2. We can see that, right? So that's how we plotted these points. So that is my first one, and I am going to pick a color for this. We're going to go with red. Tile pattern 1 is red, and I am going to go ahead and draw a line. Now I can see a trend, and I'm just going to draw my line through that. Okay, and then tile pattern 2. Tile pattern 2, let's see, we'll use purple. Tile pattern 2 starts with 1 and then adds 4 and goes to 5 and adds 4 more and goes to 9 and adds 4 more and goes to 13 and then 17. So let's do that. In tile pattern 0, figure 0 has 1. Figure 1 has 5. Figure 2 has 4 more, which is 9. Figure 3 has 4 more, which is 13, and like if it kept going, it would go up here like that. So if I was to draw my line with for tile pattern 2, which I made purple, that would go like that. And we can see again that all of my lines, if I draw them perfectly, line up perfectly in a straight, perfectly through all of my dots. Okay, all of my points. And then let's see the next one. Let's go with, we're going to go with like sort of a navy blue here. Navy blue for tile pattern 3. Tile pattern 3, when I look at it, it has, starts with 3 tiles in figure 0 and then adds 4 and has 7 and adds 4 more and has 11 and then adds 4 more and has 15 and adds 4 more and has 19. So let's see, I'm going to put those on there. Wait, did I do that right? 3, I think I did that right. 3, and then figure 1 had 4 more, which was 7, and figure 2 had 4 more, which was 11, and figure 3 had 4 more, which was 15. So I'm going to draw this line this time. And by the way, one other thing that we can point out about this is it's totally fine for the line to go all the way. Let's see, it's totally fine for the lines to go through the x-axis if we want them to. Okay, and then tile number, I'm going to actually do that with all of them so that we don't get confused about that. And purple can go through there as well. And it's totally fine. Okay, so what do we notice about these, right? We notice some things. We're starting to see a trend. They're all parallel, right? They never intersect. Each line is just a little bit higher than the other ones, right? The one on the bottom, tile pattern 2, is here, like they'll have the same slope, right? They all have the same slope here. They all are increasing at the same rate. So then let's look at these other ones. So let's see, I went from blue. Now I'm going to pick green. Go with this dark green color here. So for tile pattern 4, I'm going to start with green. Tile pattern 4 starts with 3 and then jumps to 5 and then 7 and then 9 and then 11. And adds 2 every time. So let's look at what that looks like on here. So when I draw tile pattern, the very first one starts with 3, and then tile pattern 2 adds 2 more, or tile pattern 1 adds 2 more, so it has 5, and then 2 has 2 more, which is 7, And then tile pattern 3 has 2 more, which is 9. And figure 4. I was saying tile pattern, and I should have been saying figure. Figure 4 adds 2 more, which is 11. So when we draw our line again, we can see that it's growing at a different angle here. Right now, is it totally different from the other tiles? Not exactly, but it is different in a couple of pretty special ways, and we're going to look at those in a minute. So when I look at the first, so we can look for some patterns here. And hopefully, if you look at these 3 that are very similar, the 3 parallel lines, the first 3, what do you notice about them that's the same, that's different in the other 2? While you think about that, I'm going to draw the last line, and then I'm going to check in with all of you guys in just a minute. I'm going to go with orange for this last one. Okay, so here's a dark orange. All right, and so tile pattern 5, it starts with, here I can see what they are. Figure number 0 has 5, then 7, then 9, then 11, 13. So tile pattern 1 has 5, and then 7, and then 9, and then 11, and then 13. And I'm going to draw my straight line through there. Start all the way back here, draw my line that goes through all of those points. And so we notice that one is parallel with tile pattern 4.